Good afternoon. Welcome to Q Questions, where each week we pull back the curtain on OnQ, the most powerful trial presentation software in the legal world. I'm Gene, your host, and each week I'm joined by Robb, who is OnQ's Director of User Development and all around OnQ guru, if you will. And we're not live this week because Robb is on the road taking care of business. But last week we were asked a specific question that we really wanted to get into this week. Robb, I'll let you talk a little bit about what that's going to be.
So Danny asked last week about objection reports, and I think objection reports are a definite thing you need to learn, especially for those out doing trials. And the designation objection report came after I stopped actively doing trials and went directly into doing the training. So I didn't get a chance to really use them out in the field. So when she asked that, I thought, well, I can't let this hang. So luckily I went to Nancy, and Nancy and Ryan were together doing kind of a training session of objection reports. And I said, you know what, this would be good to use to show people, here's how you do one. And so that's what we're going to do today, is just run through that. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. Sorry, again, we're not live next week. We're definitely going to take your questions. We'll be back live. But when I've got to go on the road and there's clients who we have to travel for, we've got to go to DC or do things like that. It's just what we have to do. So thank you all for your questions. I thank you very much. And Gene, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Well, right now we are going to turn it over to Nancy and Ryan, who are going to take you through the practical use of the designation objection report.
So objection reports are, attorneys file designations and then they file objections to those designations. The other side does. So the key is we're just helping them print reports so that they can hand it over to the judge. And yeah.
And the judge can easily see the designations and the objections to the designations using those reports.
Correct. Thank you. I probably should have had these open.
It's all good.
So I have some designations. The video isn't in there. You do not need the video in order to run these reports. They're they're very similar to regular designation reports where you do not need the video to run them. So I can even close that, but we can see that I have designations here. We can see they are in page line order. I have prepped objection materials, and these are objections to the PA and DC. The key to objection reports and creating all of these objection things is to make sure that it conforms to the formatting that OnQ requires. So OnQ requires the media ID tab, page, tab, line, tab, page, tab, line. It is not like designations. You can't just put page and line in there. It will not autofill. It has to have all the columns. Then a tab, and you put in the text of your objection, and then another tab to put in the party that is submitting that objection. In this particular instance, we have defense and plaintiff in here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns when you do this. So if I were to open this, I think I have combined them into one, but if I open the CSV, I need to move this over. You you can see that it has, this is something you would get from the attorney. You might export your designations to them in a CSV, and it will export this part, and then they can put in this part to give to you. I always put this on the top. This is how it will export, and we'll do an export after so I can show you. So I can export this, export, and you want to choose CSV because that basically gives you an Excel spreadsheet. And so there you go. So it'll have the linked issues of whose is whose. So one of the things is the notes are technically your objections. What you can do with this is if they have this linked issue thing where it tells you what part it is, if you know it's a plaintiff affirmative, you know that it's going to be a defense, just a D, I don't need the rest. You know it's going to be a defense objection. So you could, in theory, do a find and replace for plaintiff affirmatives and replace it with D, and do defense counters and replace that with P. They may not have objections for everything. And so when you get it back, you want to make sure that you do not have a P and a D that's empty, because that ends up with empty, weird plaintiff objection with the page and line with nothing, no text with it. So the key is always formatting. So in my thing, I can do a report, create an objection report. So I have plaintiff affirmatives and defense counters. I want to make sure the default when you do this is it doesn't have any of this stuff. It'll have designations, right? And this is the default. Plaintiff affirmatives, defense affirmatives. That's not what I have over here. I have plaintiff affirmative with defense counter. So I want to make sure that I take off that and put on defense counter. These are the designations. This is what we're selecting for. We will run this report with these designations, and whatever matches these page and lines will show up. Stacked means everything is going to be straight down. So plaintiff affirmative, defense objection, plaintiff objection will all be in one column. If you do offset stacked, that means that one set of objections will show up in one column and the other set will show up in another. So it'll kind of stagger them. You don't want that. No one wants that.
Okay.
Initially, at one time, we had a client that wanted that, and then they realized how lame it was and never used it again. However, it did get put into the, and who knows, maybe people do use it. I don't know. The other thing is full transcript. This does not, at this point in time, does not look like what our normal transcripts look like. It runs straight through. There are no page breaks. But when I run the report, I will show you what both of them look like. You can do it and export it into different types of things. There are some limitations with both PDF and Word docs, where if the objections are too long, you can have an issue. So let's add our objection column. You notice down here, you can add multiple objection columns and put them in different things. You can add response columns and it'll do a response column. You can add a ruling column where they can hand the report, print a report to the judge, and he can just write on the ruling column. Or they can give the judge if he wants, the copy that he can then type in his rulings or her rulings. I'm going to choose my objection file. And I am going to do, because I have lovely labeled all my stuff. This is objections to PA and DC all. You notice that I have only PA and only DC, but if you want them all to come out on the same report, you have to use, in the same like straight thing, you have to combine them into one text file. You can't
Okay.
do one and then the other and have it work. It all has to be in one. So I've chosen, unless you're going to do separate columns,
Yeah.
which I have done. So include objections only first time they appear. If you have the designations show up more than once, or if there's overlap, or they're split. So you have, you see over here, it has 12.3 to 12.9. If I had 12.3 to 12.9 and 12.10 to 12.15, that's been, if it had been tuned and they're right now, if they were the same page or the same color, they'd be separate designations. And if the objection said 12.3 to 12.15, it would show up both at 12.9 and 12.10. And so what it would do is show up the objection would show up twice. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't.
Okay.
This is no objections. If you're just doing a report, you don't have objections yet. Sometimes they want to see that. Sometimes you're going to use it to do an alternative report for the court. I want all Excel file. Okay, here you go. I want it to look like this with the columns. Sure. I've produced these for attorneys where they do their own objections. We've produced PDFs for them. And then they just copied and pasted or typed in their own objections and handed to the judge. So we weren't involved. And I've done Word docs as well. The key about Word docs is it gives you a cover page. PDFs give you a cover page. Excel files do not. There's no cover on an Excel file. So I then chose my thing and I'm going to do it just by the file name. So it'll be this. It doesn't add but I'll just create the report. So I open it up. Or not.
Or not.
And why did it do that? So let's look. Oh, looks fine. Report. Objection report. Plaintiff affirmative. Defense counters. Got it. Oh, full transcript. Let's do stacked here for a second. Objections. I have a plaintiff color. I'm checking the designations. Okay. Let's try this again. And that's going to be the same thing. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to do one more of these. I don't know if I took off the include objections only first time they appear.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to change this to Word doc and see if that makes a difference because maybe there's a bug. There is not. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so my Excel file ran.
Yeah.
And you can see how it looks. This is the stacked version. And it's just one long continuous Excel file.
Yep.
And it has the coloring, and you can change the coloring. Here is what the PDF would look like and what the Word doc should look like. It has the colors. You can see how pretty it is. You can see it as a cover page. And that's what it looks like. Here, let's divide that. Ready? So one of the things I wanted to show you.
Like this seems like doing something like this would be helpful for me as a tech. Like if I'm sitting there in court and I know that the judge still has to rule on objections and he's going to be doing it, um, you know, in the 10 to 15 minutes before court starts.
Uh-huh.
Like it would be helpful for me to have this. So as he or she is going through, like, okay, that's sustained, that's overruled, I can mark that down so that in that next, because I'm writing all that down on a piece of paper, on a pad of paper anyway, just so once he's done, I can just start going based on my scribblings. But now I have a list, so I can just draw a big X over the ones that he's.
Yeah, it's great if the attorneys give you the objections because
Yeah, but I
they don't
mean,
always do.
I know, but
And
that's another way to even ask for it. I mean, because I don't know that they don't give you the objections, but like they at least tell you like this isn't going to be final. It's not going to be ruled upon until, 2 days from now in court. So at that point, you know that there are objections that still need to be ruled upon. So you can ask the attorney, hey, okay, like what is being objected to?
so I wanted to show you what the transcript part looked like.
Okay.
So it has the full transcript, but it does this for the objections. But notice that the page breaks are not
Yeah.
page breaks. And
Yep.
that is the only way we can currently do them now. There may be some future things that we're going to do, but and honestly, I do not know why. So I want to show you one where we're going to get errors.
Okay. Cool.
And this is obviously I've chosen to. So
Yep.
you can save these. And this tells you the line. So why do we have these problems? Why is this missing? Can you, just by looking at this, I can tell you exactly what the problem is without even looking at the spreadsheet. That right there is supposed to be the media ID. Notice someone created the spreadsheet
Yep.
and they just dragged it down in the
Yeah.
CSV file and it did consecutive,
And yes.
right? So
Yep.
you can recognize, oh, okay, now I have to go back and
And
fix.
change them all. Yeah. Excel file.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So you can look at your CSV file and see that, okay, this is wrong.
Yep.
Um,
And I would
and a lot,
assume it would all have to be, it's all supposed to be 411, right?
correct.
Yeah.
There are other things where you might, we work very hard to try and make this as comprehensive as possible. And every time we run into something that it doesn't tell you what the problem is, we will know. So if I did this, definitely it has to be text. It doesn't necessarily have to be tab delimited text, but I like to do that because,
Why not?
right. So let's see if there are any other errors because you never know. And it won't export. You can't use it if it's open. So let's say I'm going to do the objections again. I'm going to come in here and choose part 2 and hit create reports. And it was able to create it without any well, that's interesting. So we're only looking for, I see the report, but do you see any objections in it?
I do not.
You do not. So we kind of have to look and go, why did we not see objections in it? Because, and this is the key, we want to make sure that we are, we check our work to make sure it's like, okay, why are there no objections? The report ran fine. We didn't get an error. So we're going to look at,
Because I would rather figure out why there are no objections now than when I give this to an attorney and they send it back and say there are no objections. Why is that?
right. So when we look at this, guess what's missing?
Hold on. Okay, we got the ID, we did dation. Is the I know it's missing.
Okay,
Deponent page line, and then nothing above foundation.
there's not supposed to be anything.
There's not
So
supposed to be any?
this is supposed to be absolutely blank.
Oh, okay.
But what's missing is the P and D.
Oh, damn it. I knew that.
So what I
I was
did
honestly going to say that, and then I
right.
saw that there was the word objection wasn't on there,
So
or
what I did was I
or
fixed the CSV, but the CSV, original CSV, did not have the P and D on it.
okay.
So I need to open this with Excel. Because I didn't create a proper text file, basically. So
Gotcha.
that needs to be deleted. And in the G column, I need to put it's objections to defense counters, right? So I'm going to put a P all the way down here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to save it.
Yeah, because it's an objection to defense counters, so they would all be plaintiff.
Right.
Okay.
And we're going to try again. This is part of the thing with objections is, and just so you know, when you open this up and you run objections, it will not delete the previous, it'll have your same thing. So you have to change that objection file every single time.
Okay.
I don't want full transcript. I want stack. Not going to try for that right now because clearly there's a problem. And now that we've corrected, but notice we did not get an error.
Yeah.
It ran the report just fine. It just didn't tell us
That you didn't create objections.
that it wasn't a correct text file. Because you can run a blank one.
Yeah.
Also notice the objection reports do not have times on them. So you're using them for very specific purposes. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you're pretty good with it. As far as,
And
Uh,
I always suggest go to the website and look at it. Is very comprehensive. It tells you this is exactly the form you need.
So there you go. I mean, that's how you do it. I wish I were better at it. I wish I could get in some true use case scenarios with it, Gene. But as I said, as with everything inside of OnQ, you've got to play with it. You've got to mess with it. You got to sit there and figure out your workflow, how it will work for you. Not everything works the same. Not everything is going to work like other softwares. You have to just get in it and play with it. And I promise you're not going to mess it up. And if you do mess it up, it's certainly not something that we can't get you out of. So thank you all very much. Hopefully we'll be on live next week. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. We're just going to wing it. So bring your questions next week. Think of your best ones, bring them in. They can be OnQ related. They can be equipment related. They can be trial tech related. They can be business related. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about whatever. So I'm Robb Helt, and my partner, Gene, always. Gene is behind the scenes making everything happen and making sure that we get this thing done. So, hey, guys, for everybody here at OnQ, we'll see you next week.